Yeah, so today we shall be talking about the terahertz frequency and also how the iTeracare is helping people. Again, good day and welcome. All right, now first of all, what is the terahertz wave? All right, so many people ask, so how does this device work? What is it in the device which is helping us, and how is it helping us? So to understand that, we have a look at the terahertz wave. All right. So to understand the terahertz wave, we look at the electromagnetic spectrum. Now, when you look at the electromagnetic spectrum, there are many frequencies on the electromagnetic spectrum. And if you look closely, the terahertz is right in between the microwaves and the infrared. So that's where it is. Now, just to go a little bit further, there's something called photonics and electronics. So on one side is the photonics, on one side are the electronics. So the terahertz is right in between, and its behavior is in such a way that is either photonics or electronics, and neither photonics or electronics, right? So because of that, it took people some time to understand how this frequency works. But now presently, especially in the last 30 years, it has found a place, right? So before this, people also used to call it the sub-millimeter waves and the far infrared waves. Okay. Now, if you look at the terahertz frequency and you want to know why this is so special, why this is different from the other frequencies. Now, first of all, we look again at the electromagnetic spectrum. Now, if you look at the other frequencies, for example, the radio frequencies. Now, the radio frequency is used mostly in communication. If you look at the medical, X-ray frequencies, they are used a lot in imaging. So if you look at the others as well, each one of them have the specific peculiar uses. But when you look at the terahertz frequency, what makes it different from the rest is that it is able to work in your body where it is helping your body. So first of all, it's helping with the molecular vibrations and rotations. And what that means is that your cells in the body, they are supposed to vibrate and rotate. The more they vibrate and rotate, the better they vibrate and rotate, the better they perform. And if they can work optimally, then they can do lots of things in the body. Unfortunately, because of the food and the drinks that we are eating now, which are so different from way before during our forefathers, the rotation and the vibrations are far more less because the food and the drinks which you are taking in now basically don't help you with the energy which the body needs. So this is where the terahertz frequency fills the vacuum. So when you use the terahertz frequency, what happens is that it is now able to vibrate and rotate as before. So when that happens, when the vibrations and the rotations happen, so now the cells can work optimally. And when they work optimally, there are a few things which they do. The first one is that, you see, the body is always working to have homeostasis and equilibrium. So it is always trying to get rid of unwanted things and enhance the body to where it should be. So the first thing it does is it gets rid of things which are unwanted, especially the toxins and the waste. Now, over a long period of time, when you don't have that energy, the cells, the tissues, the body, they're unable to perform optimally to get rid of these toxins and waste in a proper way. So what happens is they start gathering, and then you find that you call them diseases. They cause inflammation, they cause pain, and you call them diseases. So when the body is now able to work again optimally, they slowly get rid of these things, and now it slowly bring back the body to where it should be. So that's where the energy comes in and helps you. Now, besides the molecular vibrations and rotations, you also have what is called the intermolecular vibration and the intramolecular vibration. Now, how is this helpful to the body? Now, when you say intermolecular, they're working at the cellular level where it is working, intramolecular, where they're working inside the cells, right? So inside the cells, you have what is called as cytoplasm, and the cytoplasm needs to function. So this is where they're helping. And when you say intermolecular, what's happening is between the cells, between the molecules. So if you see our organs, all of them have cells, similar cells. If you have you take the liver, for example, the cells in the liver, they need to work together. If some part of it is not working, then you have a problem. So this is where the intermolecular vibration makes sure the organs are also working well. So the terahertz frequency is also helping in that aspect. Now, let's look a little bit more. The frequency range of this frequency is about 100 gigahertz to 10 terahertz. And the wavelengths range from 3 millimeters to 30 micrometers. And it is in accordance and compatible with the frequencies found in our body. So this is why it is working. Now you can't do the same with radio frequencies or the X-ray frequencies, all right? But the terahertz frequency is in accordance and compatible with the frequencies found in our body. Now the next thing is it is harmless but very powerful. Okay, so it is helping as well as it is harmless, but it is very powerful. And it's also called the rays of life and the waves of life, especially in countries like China and Japan. They have been using this technology without realizing that this is the technology, but they have been calling it as the rays of life, waves of life, because it has been helping people. And now we are all calling it the terahertz frequency. Now, initially, among the first uses for this was for scanning, right? Especially when you go through airports, you will find that they use it for scanning, and then people are using it for spectroscopy, and then they were using it for imaging. People are finding that the images, even compared to the X-ray, the terahertz images are even much more sharper and clearer. And then they were using in the military, especially in China. Now, what's happening is in China, they found that this is one of the top 10 technologies in the world. And they found that this thing is going to be useful. And they started working on this technology way ahead of all the other countries. So if you look at China now, they're actually about 5 to 10 years ahead of us. In many countries, people are just getting to know about the terahertz frequency, but China is already using it in the military, outer space, submarines, so many uses. So many of the devices using terahertz frequency is actually coming out of China. See, they have people who work on the terahertz technology, and they work in places like the Chinese Academy of Science, where they have scientists, researchers working specifically on the terahertz frequency, right? So then we have also people, I mean, it is being used for dentistry, and now a lot with health. And you find that there are many researchers, clinical studies done on the terahertz frequency, right? So, and it is considered safe. First, it's because it is non-ionizing. Now, what do you mean by non-ionizing? Non-ionizing is when they do not steal the electrons from the atoms or molecules of the tissues of the body, right? What's happening is, people take lots of supplements, nutrition, where it is high in antioxidants, specifically to help what could counter free radicals, right? So if if it steals electrons, it becomes free radicals and starts disturbing the other cells as well. And the chain reaction goes on. So to counter that, people take lots of antioxidants. But in this case, this frequency is non-ionizing and it is safe. The next thing is, it is considered safe for humans at low frequencies. Now, that's an important aspect of it, at low frequencies. Okay, now you might have seen studies where it is affecting humans, but if you look deeper, it'll tell you that they're high frequencies and it is a research done by them, right? So that is how it behaves. But at low frequencies, practically all the studies are showing that they are safe and also they're helping with health. Okay, now these are some of the studies which people have done. This is in 2023, terahertz imaging and sensing for healthcare, current status and future perspectives. You can have a look at this study. And then you have terahertz technology and its biomedical applications. So people actually seriously looking at the terahertz frequency and what it can do, right? So these are just some of the studies. There are many, many more now coming. This is another one about cellular effects of terahertz waves. And then we have terahertz radiation effects and biological applications. Now, people get worried when they hear the word radiation. Now, what does radiation mean? So far, most people, when they hear the word radiation, they're looking at something more negative, right? Where it is harming you. Now, radiation simply means that it is being radiated from one place to another, and it can be good and it also can be bad. All right? So, in this case, with terahertz radiation, it is good. Now, let's look at our body and how it works on our body. Now, first of all, the terahertz frequency is all around us, and it has been there from day one when the earth was formed. But unfortunately, it doesn't help the body much because, first of all, out there, the terahertz frequency is rather weak. It travels about 5 to 10 meters probably, and the moisture quickly absorbs it. So it doesn't help much. And then when it comes to our body, let's look at our epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis, the top three layers of the body, of the skin. And when we look at how deep it can penetrate under normal circumstances, taking the first three layers, which is about 3.1 to 6.3 millimeters. Now, under normal circumstances, the penetration of normal terahertz wave is only about 0.1 to 0.3 millimeters. So it doesn't go in much, doesn't help you much. But what is happening now is that with the terahertz iTeraCare devices, the penetration has increased to about 20 to 30 centimeters. That's about 1 foot. That's a long way into the body. And everywhere it is going in, it is helping the tissues, helping the cells get the energy from the frequency, terahertz frequency, and is doing numerous things inside which is beneficial to the body. And let's look at some of them. Why iTeraCare? First of all, the iTeraCare device uses the terahertz frequency, and secondly, it also gives you some heat, and you can use the heat according to how much you need the heat, right? Now, the iTeraCare device can work independently of the heat. It still works. The heat is additional, and you can adjust the heat, right? You have level 1, level 2, level 3. So you adjust it according to what you require. But even without the heat, especially with the Pro, without the heat, it still works. It is still working on you. So why do you need the iTerra? Now, first of all, let's see how it is going to help you. First of all, as we saw just now, it is giving you non-ionizing radiation. So it is harmless, but very powerful, right? So you don't have to worry, just use it. Now, the second thing is the most important part is the energy. Now, people used to wonder why before this, during our forefathers' time, why people did not get sick as they are getting sick now. Even youngsters are getting sick. Now, just this morning, I attended a funeral of one of our members' son, right? It was very sad actually, because his age was only 33. Okay, and his organs and many of the things, organs in the body have been affected. No, and he was so young. It was so sad to see him at 33. Now, why is this happening? Now, if you look deeper and study what is going on, now formerly what people used to do is they used to drink water from the rivers and from the wells. They contain lots of energy, right? And that energy was helping our body, working in our body, natural energy. Okay. Now, what happened was, and even the food they ate was mostly fresh. Either they planted, they had a small garden, they had a piece of land in front of their house, or they exchanged with their neighbors, or they were getting it fresh from the markets, wet markets which were nearby. But then, in the name of development, people started moving inland, right, into towns and cities. So now, first of all, the water. The water was no more from the rivers, and even if there were rivers, they were mostly polluted. So most of the water was coming through taps, from dams and then through pipes and then to our taps. And then they were also getting it from bottled water. And many now, because of the quality of the water, they were having filters in the house. Of course, the filters clean the water, give you clean drinking water, but unfortunately, the water which we are drinking now does not contain the energy which we used to have before. Now, even the food which we are eating, if you study or you look back at what you have been eating recently, most of us have been eating processed food. And processed food does not contain the energy which used to be there. So now, most of us are surviving on the little energy which comes from here and there. You know, when they tell you, if you eat this, for example, from KFC, McDonald's, people call them junk food. Now, why do they call them junk food? Without realizing, one of the main things, if you look at them, they're all processed food and do not contain any energy, and they are not helping you in any way, right? So that's how children are surviving now, okay? And many parents, of course, are happy to take them because it makes the children happy. But what you're giving them is food which is devoid of energy, right? And if you look at it again, many children now are not eating the vegetable as they should be eating, and even the fruits. They're not eating enough fruits, partly because of the cost of the fruits. So without realizing, we are slowly moving away from food which has been giving you energy and consuming food which is devoid of energy. right? And the water is definitely not giving you anything. So this is where the terahertz frequency, especially with the iTeracare devices, when you use them, they're giving you back that energy because it is in accordance and compatible with the energy in your body. All right? So you're putting back the energy where it is, where it should be. Now, what's happening is besides that, it is also helping with the water clusters. Now, what's happening is if you look properly, if you look at the research done, the water which you drink, only 50% is actually going into your cells, and the remainder 50% is actually just coming out or going to your stomach and then it's coming out. Now, that means that you're only getting 50% proper hydration. So the body needs to be hydrated well because the cytoplasm in the cells, they need that hydration. And then the blood, it needs that water to bring down the viscosity of the blood. And the water is also a good carrier of many things in the body, and especially through the blood. Even your lymphatic system needs that water to bring out whatever is in the body, to clean, to clear, right? So all in all, the water, the amount of water which is going in is important. So what's happening is now when you use the iTeracare devices, you're breaking the water clusters and you're making almost 100% of the water which you consume to enter your cells. All right. So if you look further, this is how they work, the clusters. And when you use the terahertz frequency, it breaks those clusters, makes them linear, and now they can easily penetrate the cell, the water channel. All right. So there's something called an aquaporin. So it controls the size of the water which comes in. So it allows water which is 2 nanometers in size, which is about 4 molecule clusters and below, to come in. So what happens is under normal circumstances with the normal water, only 50% is coming in. But with the terahertz frequency, it breaks those clusters and almost 100% is now coming in. Now, what happens when it comes in? The cytoplasm inside contains a lot of organelles, and these organelles need a high hydration for them to function optimally. The plasma inside should be having around 70% water, then they function very well. Now, for example, if you take the mitochondria is one organelle which produces your energy, right? Which is ATP. Now, under normal circumstances, some people feel very fatigued because probably they are producing about 2 to 4 ATPs. But with the water coming in and then the energy being energized, energizing the water inside. Now, the third thing comes in, which is it grabs more oxygen. And once oxygen also comes in, what happens is that now the mitochondria can produce abundance of energy. They shoot up to about 32 to 34. So that is why people who are drinking the water, they find themselves very energized and they don't easily get tired. Even into the night, they are well energized. Now, just look at it a bit further. Imagine your children who have been going to school in the morning. They come back, then they're running off to extracurricular activities. They come back, then you're sending them for extra tuition and then music class and whatnot. We expect them to be energized and being able to perform right through the night. But are you giving them enough energy to sustain? So what happens is by the time they come back after the extracurricular activities, they're already slowly withering because of lack of energy. all right? And then when they're going for the extra classes and all, they're already a little bit tired and things are not really, when they are learning, they're writing, the reception is not so good, the absorption is not so good. But when you start giving this water, things change. They are more energized and now they absorb better. Now, try giving your children who are going to school, who are going to college, give them this water, and then look at their results down the way, along the way. All right? It's definitely going to change. So, it's definitely changing things. So, this is where we see the organelles, which are tiny organs of the cell. They're right inside the cells in the cytoplasm. So, if the cytoplasm has lack of water, which means less hydration, then all these things cannot perform well. So the moment it is getting high hydration, and things work so much better, right? Okay, so some of the things which they do, and let's look at how it helps further. First of all, it's not what do you call that, invasive, non-invasive, where many of the things where previously you had to go through surgery, now people are finding that they do not have to go through surgery, right? Now, for example, the healing, it's happening through the blowing, right? Through the blowing, they're changing things. Now, imagine your knee. Let's talk about your knee. Many have a problem with their synovial fluid, so they have to go for surgery to get it rectified. Now imagine if you can get it rectified naturally. Why do you think the synovial fluid becomes less and then the two bones start touching each other and then you have pain because of this lack of synovial fluid? Because the synovial fluid is something which is alive, which is living. It needs to be fed, right? So one of the causes is because the blood supply in and around the knee is no more being supplied. Now, the first thing is the cells, they lack water, so they have problems moving nutrition and oxygen. And then the second thing is, what do you call that, the energy there for the cells to work. They are lacking. And when you have a lack of these two things, you also lack in oxygen. All right? So the problem starts. So people are finding that now using the blower, and they're blowing on the knee, and then they're blowing around the knee. So now the blood vessels are working better. They're bringing the supply back. The knees are getting the nutrition, the oxygen, and the energy needed. And now slowly the synovial fluid starts forming again, and then it separates again. There's a cushion there, and people find that they don't have to go through surgery, right? Okay. The other thing is you don't have to touch anybody to use this. Okay, no contact, and you can blow it anywhere you want, because like if you look at the modern medicine, if you have a headache, you're going to give them probably Panadol, right? Paracetamol. And then if you have some problems in your stomach, then you might want to give Gaviscon. And then you have a pain somewhere, then probably you're giving them some painkillers. Now here, as long as you have the cells and molecules from head to toe, you can use this device to work on those areas, and it's localized in the sense that you use specifically for areas where you have a problem and you try to get them recovered, right? And it's specialized in a sense that you can use all the three devices to blow on yourself or on the water, to charge the water and drink the water. Now, if you're still drinking 2 glasses of water before and after therapy, if you have the device, it's about time you change that and you start drinking from the time you're awake in the morning right to the time you are sleeping. This becomes your water, right? Completely changes you. So it's about time you started using this fully. And when I travel, I take one with me. And the first thing I do when I reach any place is charge the water for me to consume, right? So anywhere, everywhere, use this water and see how it changes you. Right. Now, your present health condition is also important because now, with the COVID-19, now you have got long COVID and a lot of things happening to people where their lungs are one of the main organs which are being affected. So people are still until today having problems with their lungs. So what happens is the lung is an organ which works a little bit differently from the other organs. So when people find that this device is going to help them, they get excited and they start using it directly on their lungs. Of course, it's going to help you, but what happens is that the lungs, when they are improving, they are getting better, they start releasing water, fluids, right? So when this happens, if you do it too fast, too soon, then there's too much water there and you can feel suffocation, right? You have problems with the breathing. Then you have to run to the hospital and get the water out. So I always warn people that when you are using on the lungs, make sure that they don't have an issue and work slowly. Use it maybe 5 minutes initially, see how they cope, whether it's giving them a problem. If it's not giving them a problem, then continue next time after maybe 2 weeks, go on to 10 minutes. You know that now the lung is able to cope, right? And not immediately work on it at 20 minutes. Of course, we want them to get better, but that's not the way the lungs behave. Right. Now, why terahertz energy? You take a drop of blood and look under the microscope. This is probably what you are going to see under the microscope. Clumping, lack of hydration, lack of energy, and there's no way they're going to grab more oxygen in this way. And what's happening is the viscosity shoots up. And when the viscosity shoots up, then you start getting high blood pressure, right? Because you're going to be forced through. So when you drink the water or you use the device on yourself, now what's happening is changing how the blood works. So immediately you find that first there is energy there, and then you have hydration, and then they become separated. And when they are separated, the surface area to volume ratio increases, and now they can grab more oxygen on their way in and bring them to the tissues, more nutrition, and when they come back, they can grab more carbon dioxide, toxins, and waste. So it becomes better, all right? So now you find that the body slowly starts changing. So if you look at your body, now what's happening is the body changes over time. It doesn't just remain that way. So, like for example, your skin, it rebuilds itself in 1 month, your blood probably in 4 months, your brain probably in a year, your liver in 6 weeks, and your stomach linings maybe in 5 days, and even your bones starts building itself. Now, every time it wants to rebuild itself, how nice if you can give them good cells, quality cells. So if you can give them the good quality cells, what happens is in 1 year, 98% of your body changes and becomes better. That is to say, in 1 year, you are changing into a new person, technically speaking. All right? Because now you're replacing all the cells which are changing with quality cells, right? Better quality. So you will have a stronger, healthier and younger body. You regain youth. So all you have to do is work on yourself. Trust what it does. Give yourself an opportunity to bring yourself to what you were before, right? So slowly the body changes. In 1 year, you have a new you, right? Okay, so let's listen to what this person has got to say. By the way, she's from the Philippines.
Hi guys, this one, the Terahertz one, this is something that every home needs. You could use this. This is like having an energy healer in your home, right? I highly recommend this. You could use this for pain. You could use this to calm your body from anxiety, to reduce stress, to improve sleep. You could use this for pain to totally eliminate pain if you focus on the right points to direct the energy. Two, this is like having an energy healer in your home. You could use this to charge and structure water, so you're drinking water that is healthy for you vibrationally, right? You could use this for beauty, to reverse aging. This is so good for your skin. You could use this to enjoy better sleep, guys, right? If you focus on the pineal gland that's right here, it's going to help you enjoy better quality sleep.
As you see, she's an energy healer, and she says you have an energy healer at home if you have the one. So it's basically like you're having a doctor in the house. Now, just to share with you another incident which happened. Last night, late at night, I received a call from my wife. At present, I'm living in a different part of Malaysia, central part. She's in the north. She went back for a couple of weeks to meet her siblings. So she called me and she said that she's having palpitations, she's sweating, and she's weak, and she could hardly stand. So the first thing I asked her, did you blow? She said, yes, I blew for about 20 minutes. So I said, okay, good. She blew in her tummy area. And I asked her to lie down, let the energy work for her. I said, lie down for about 5 minutes, and I will call you back in 5 minutes. And when I called her back in 5 minutes, she said, after having blown on the stomach, when she tried to get up, she gave a big burp. Whatever air was trapped inside all came out. So what I told her was, okay, now get another glass, half a glass of hot water where you can drink, and then blow another 10 minutes. So that's what she did. And then after about 20 minutes, I called her again. She said she was fine. And this morning, when I called her, she was totally back to normal. So the eye therapy device was the doctor in the house for her. All right. Initially, she was panicking and she wanted to go to the hospital. So I said, just hold on. Don't worry. The doctor is in the house. So if the doctor in the house doesn't work, then you go. And so it happened that the doctor in the house managed to overcome her problem. And today she is perfectly fine. Right? So have trust in the device. When you have a problem, start using it first and then see where it goes. You see, I met a doctor in Delhi who came for a talk, right? He was seated right in front, and he was the head of the emergency department in a hospital in New Delhi. So during our break, so he came up to have a talk. So then I asked him, Doctor, you are the head of an important department in the hospital. So I'm surprised to see you here. Why are you here? So he told me, yes, we are the best when it comes to emergencies, right? And that's an emergency, definitely we are the people who are the best. But when it comes to a chronic problem, I have to look for some alternatives because uh, I would definitely want to look at something which changes me naturally. So that is why I am here, because I've heard from my friend and he was telling me about this, and I really wanted to know what it does, how it does it, and how I can make use of it. So that is how uh, he came into the picture, and he was very happy with what he heard. And also met another doctor who was in charge of the rehab ward, right? Rehab ward in one of the hospitals in India. And we were sharing, I was telling him about how it speeds up the repair in the body and the recovery. So while sharing, he told me, yes, I agree with you, because I am in the rehab ward. We see lots of fractures and problems in the rehab ward. And I have been using this device, and it has sped up the recovery of my patients. Now, for example, you have a fracture. Normally, it'll be in 3 months sort of joins, and it takes another 3 months. So it comes about 6 months before you actually can put to use your bones, right? Walking, whatever. But what he found out was, even before that, it's working, it's already, that people are able to come out even before that. So it has sped the recovery much faster. All right. So these are things which we are hearing from people. Okay. So there are lots of things. And I'll share you one more before we go. Um, just a tip for today. Now, there are many of you out there who are beyond 40, 40 and above, 50s, 60s. Now, of course, this device is very good. It is going to help you. But, sorry, excuse me. But to further help you, try to move every day. Move meaning there are some people who are constantly sitting, not moving, not exercising. You need to exercise. The simple walk, even a few steps a day, is definitely going to help you, because your calf muscles of your leg, they are the second heart which you have. Of course, you have your heart, but they are the second heart. So when the blood comes down, it has to be pumped up so the circulation moves properly. But when the calves do not move and they are not pumping, then the heart, you put the pressure on the heart, it has to do more work. Then you start suffering from problems, right? So move, make the calves move, make the calves squeeze, make the calves pump, and you'll find that now the heart works better, the pressure is taken off the heart, and the circulation improves. And when the circulation moves, now you are bringing more of the terahertz blood. That means where you have used the terahertz water and then the blower, and now they're carrying more of this energy, and then the hydration improves, and then they're bringing it to all the tissues, and you find that slowly it's changing for you. Just a few days ago, just to share one more, I had an unlucky, moment when my car actually broke down. It just didn't want to start. So then I had to call a tow truck, right? The starter gave way. I had to call the tow truck. I waited for him. And I came back on the tow truck to the garage. But when we came back, I said, come, let's have a drink, because he was such a lovely man, elderly man. So we sat down. And then he was asking what I did, and I told him, this is what I do. And he said, are you sure it can do that? I said, come. I bring my device everywhere I go. I have it with me. I'll show it to you. So we charged some water. I gave it to him. And then he was twisting and turning and jumping and bending. He said, do you know, I was coughing just now. I didn't know whether you realized or not, but I was actually coughing. I had this phlegm. It was irritating me. Then he tried coughing to induce that coughing. He said it's gone. And then he said his chest used to have pain. He's a tow truck driver. elderly, 68 years old, but tough. And then the back used to have a problem. He said, now it's gone. So I don't know what your water has done to me, but I really would like to continue having that water. So I charged him a bigger bottle to take home. And he has made plans to meet me again in future to know more about this. So everywhere you go, carry your device. You can just help another soul to get better without you realizing it. I didn't know he had a cough. I didn't know he had a chest pain. I didn't know he had a problem at his back. All I did was I gave him the charged water, and then he started telling me, now this is gone, and this is gone. So this is how you help another soul, right? You are the love angels, you are the health angels. So thank you very much. Any questions? Please focus on the terahertz frequency. Thank you very much.